This summer, when you think vacation, think National Lampoon's Vacation. See the real America.
Hey, underpants. Hey, yellow.
It's friendly.
I'm okay.
Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?
It's educational.
Great.
And most of all, it's fun.
The dog went on the picnic basket.
Let Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Imogene Coca, Randy Quaid, John Candy, and Christy Brinkley.
Well, are you gonna go for it?
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Take you for a ride. This summer, when you think vacation, think National Lampoon's Vacation.
On the SuperCaZt. Yeah. And welcome back to the SuperCaZt. You guys all know me. I'm the man who put the Z in SuperCaZt. That's Steve Z. And along with me is that other guy. You know him as what?
The Super Foch, the man who put the super in SuperCaZt. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. We just recorded another live stream, and
We did, man.
I kind of got the adrenaline going. That
Yeah, same here.
overlooks all the weird technical difficulties we had there. So
Yeah.
ready to do this. Ready to talk about this film. This
Yeah, most definitely.
1983 classic Vacation, or actually I should say National Lampoon's Vacation.
Vacation. The one that started it all.
Yeah, and this is a series of films, and it's a major hit for Chevy Chase, a major hit for National Lampoon's, and it just led on to other things. So we're going to talk about it.
Definitely.
So I guess a good place to start off is the origin of it, the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And it begins with a guy that we're all very familiar with. We talked about The Breakfast Club a while back. And,
Sure did.
That's John Hughes, also known as the King of the 80s, the man of the teen comedy. And this is him before all that. So,
Right.
you know anything about the early John Hughes stuff?
I don't, other than what we've talked about in the past with the Breakfast Club and all of that. I actually did not know he was connected to this film originally. That is a very interesting tidbit.
Yeah, this was his thing originally. He wrote the short story for National Lampoon's. It was one of those deals where he had a day job. He was, I think he was like an insurance salesman or something.
Wow.
But he would do this writing on the side and send it off to the magazine, and they would publish it, and they're like, this guy's pretty good. And eventually this short story, which was called Vacation 58, got picked up. People were shopping it around and trying to get it made into a film. It's kind of funny. The first person they go to is Jeffrey Katzenberg from Paramount.
Disney.
Well, he's eventually
Paramount,
Disney, but at the time he was Paramount.
Right.
And he said, I don't think this is going to be a good movie. I don't think it's very filmable. It seems very stupid, like very episodic.
Yeah.
And then they take it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is licking their chops. They're like, oh, this is going to be a hit. It's going to be great. And sure enough, they were right. They cast the perfect guy for Clark Griswold.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, they got old Chevy Chase, who's riding high after another film we talked about recently, Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, yeah.
I guess it's not totally recently. It was back in February, but
It seems like it was like yesterday, didn't it?
yeah. So they get Chevy Chase. They get Harold Ramis.
There you go.
But Harold Ramis, who a lot of people know him as Egon,
Yeah, from Ghostbusters.
and he's also a very talented director. Also directed Caddyshack. But he and Chevy got their hands on this script, and they kind of peeved Mr. John Hughes a little bit because they reworked it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you feel about that.
You know,
Do you think the writer or the director, who should get the authority on this?
you know what? I have a lot of respect for John Hughes, so I'm kind of taking his side on this one. Not that I don't really dislike what Harold Ramis did and everything, but I kind of feel bad knowing that now, you know?
Yeah, he was not happy.
I wouldn't have been either.
Especially since he went through all the trouble of casting that kid actors.
You're right.
Because it's supposed to be told from Rusty's point of view.
Right.
So he went out and got Anthony Michael Hall cast, and he's like, this kid is great. He's so funny. He does all the lines perfect. And then they reworked the script because Chevy Chase is he's now Clark. So we got to tell it from his point of view.
So do you think Anthony Michael Hall knew this? Do you think when he was cast that he knew that this movie was going to be from his point of view, and then they're like, oh, wait, we got this big comedy guy coming in here. He's going to take over, and you're just going to be kind of the son.
I'm not sure. I'm sure that would affect him a little bit, but I still think...
I
think it was a good performance for him. I think that been a lot on a kid. It's like, hey, you're the lead in this. And so that would have been a little bit tough, but I like the film as it is. It's kind of interesting to think about what it could have been.
Right.
But nevertheless, they got the film made. They shot it. Harold Ramis directing it. And Harold Ramis, this is still part of his, I guess, cocaine-fueled, drug frenzy sort of episodes he had in the early 80s. Yeah. And I think it's very much a good sister film to Caddyshack.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it makes a little more sense than Caddyshack. At least it follows a fine plot the whole way through.
It's the worst family vacation you could ever want to go on, though, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, from the outsider's point of view, it's hilarious and that kind of thing, but if you're, like, in the car that entire time, oh my gosh, it would be the worst thing ever.
And it starts from the very get-go, from when he's just getting the car.
Yes.
I mean, that's just hilarious. He trades in his car. He's hoping to get a better one, and then all of a sudden Eugene Levy pulls a fast one on him. Because here you go, here's the Truckster. It's a beautiful car, isn't it?
It's a piece of junk.
It's the ugliest car that has ever been devised. Like, they actually went through extra lengths to make this thing look worse than it did.
I mean, jeez.
Dad, this is not the car you ordered.
Take it easy, Rusty. Ed, this is not the car I ordered. I distinctly ordered the Antarctic Blue Super Sports Wagon with the CB and the optional Rally Fun Pack. I don't want to drive it. I just want my old car back, okay? I'm not falling for this bit.
No way. Let's go, Russ.
Planned out.
I mean, you gotta admire the guy. He has good intentions, like you said, but it does not go well for the Griswolds.
No, they can't even leave the garage without things going amiss. They have the luggage set up. They're pulling out. Everybody's cheering. And the luggage just falls off. It's amazing.
So, I thought of you watching this film, because I remember you guys going to San Francisco. Did you get flashbacks watching this, of that vacation watching this film, man?
I did when I watched it as a kid. Nowadays, I don't as much, but...
You could separate the two?
Yeah, we had a few episodes like this. I remember there was one time, somehow or another, my mom lost all her clothes, so she had to go out shopping.
What?
And she went out shopping for like a whole afternoon, while me and my family, me, my dad, and my sister, we just sat around watching television. And she had to go out and get new clothes and everything, because I can't exactly remember what happened, but she just didn't have any clothes. She had to go out and buy some more. And
that's incredible. That's so hilarious.
And I remember there's one night that we couldn't find any place to stay. We were traveling, and we tried to stay off at this one place, and it was like sort of like our little tent place from this film. It was like a little cabin out in the woods, and we got in there, and as a kid, I'm just like, I'm sleepy. I'm ready to go to bed. I was about to plop down on that, but my mom and my dad are like, no, we are not staying here. We just packed up and we left, and we drove all night. So we had a few incidents like that on that trip, but
no dead relatives, right?
No, definitely not. And I guess my sister and I, we fought a little bit more than Rusty and Audrey, so I didn't instigate any of it.
Of course not, man. Of course not.
Yeah, so back to this plot. If
Yeah.
you could call it a plot, I mean, like I said, it's a Harold Ramis movie from the 80s, and it's just basically Clark taking the family, and very episodic in nature. It's just different sights along the way, and it's one of those deals where we just see this descent into madness by Clark,
Yeah.
because everything just keeps going bad for him, and by the end of it, he's a lunatic.
Well, he rolls with a lot of punches. You have to give him kind of credit. You know, he rolls with a lot for a while. But what do you think the thing that set him off the most? What do you think what is the trigger, you think?
I think just being around Edna for that long. I mean, that's terrible. And yeah, we'll get into her later. It's just that, and just the culmination of things. I mean, the guy, he can't hold on to his money. He's just losing it like crazy. He has to like phone up people, like, anybody have any cash? Because he gave some to Eddie. He gave some to the people that repaired the car.
Oh, Eddie. Oh, we hadn't even talked about Eddie.
I mean, I just feel bad for him. I can't imagine what it'd be like to get to this point in the trip, and you're like, yeah, my credit cards have been canceled. I have no cash in my pocket. It's just very dire straits.
It's a disaster film is what this is. I mean, it's a really family disaster film, and it reminds me of, well, like I said, the trips you guys took. But when I was a kid, we went to Pennsylvania with a bunch of people we went to church with, and we were like a caravan, and we had like people in front of us and behind us, and we were all on CBs. This is way before cell phones, so to keep up with each other, we'd be on CBs and be like, hey, yeah, you see that sign up there? We're going to stop up there and go to the bathroom or whatever. I mean, it was just like a caravan or something.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, I guess, though. But
it was fun.
Logistically, it's kind of a nightmare.
It really is, yeah.
And I guess that's kind of where my next talking point is how this film was made.
Ugh.
I mean, they basically did the same thing. They were in a caravan of like trailers, vans, cars. The whole production team was going, the whole actors. And I could definitely see how the actors, that helped them get into character.
Yeah.
But I could not imagine getting ready to like light a scene or getting ready to shoot something.
Yeah.
When I've just been on the road for like 20, 30 days. And
kidding, man.
It just seems like not much fun. But I guess it added to the magic of the whole film. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, it made it definitely more real, and you can definitely see, especially with like the kids. I always feel bad for the kids because you can tell that they've just been through a lot. You know, they're tired. They're still trying to be happy when they get to Wally World or the end. But it had to be a terrible shoot. Like I think it'd be the worst thing ever to have to be in a car for, you know, X amount of hours and then go shoot a scene, and back in the car. I mean, you know, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, especially I don't think the air conditioning was great in that car.
Whew, I bet not.
And then you add in sort of the whole cameras being mounted, and probably had to do some of the lighting in there. And I think the actress that played Audrey, her name is Dana Barron, and she got motion sickness.
Bless her.
So that's not a fun shoot.
Nope.
But like you said, they were good troopers. Let's get into the cast a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So we have to get into it with Mr. Chevy Chase, Mr. 80s comedy man. I think this is his best character. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I think when he's dead and gone, I think people will remember him as Clark Griswold. I think they'll forget his name was even Chevy Chase. I think he'll just be Clark Griswold, you know, kind of thing, because he's just, I mean, it's one of those characters, like, you either love him or you hate him, you know. I don't think there's any in between. What do you think of his performance as Mr. Griswold, especially in this film?
Yeah, his reactions to everything, his facial gestures, the physical comedy.
Yeah. I
love his, so apparently the whole scene with the sandwich is just improv. He's just sitting there kissing the sandwich and all that. Finds out it's been peed on by the dog and everything. It's just, I just love him. I can't imagine anybody else playing this part.
No, not at all. I mean, it's kind of like Clouseau with Peter Sellers. You don't even talk about Steve Martin playing Clouseau because Mr. Sellers owned this part. And I think the same thing with Griswold. Like I said, I think Clark Griswold will be on Chevy Chase's headstone.
Yeah, it has to be. And I think he's not a great person in real life. And I know this, and kind of a jerk, kind of a diva. Yeah. But I guess Griswold Ramis had his number. I mean, they had good performances together, good movies together. Yeah. And he came back for the rest of these films. So I guess Chevy, he kind of was zoned in. He liked this character. He liked playing him. Yeah. And I think it's probably his best performance. I can't imagine Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray or any of those other Saturday Night Live guys pulling this one off.
Or even like a Jim Carrey, or Adam Sandler. I just don't think anybody would have the magic that Chevy Chase has with this character.
No, it's so much earnest. Like, you can tell he's a guy that wants to make this work. He's pushing through it all. He's kind of over the top at times. Like, that thing in Dodge City. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised those kids did not freak out more than they did when they...
No kidding, man.
Like, that guy just pulls out a shotgun and shoots their dad right there.
I would have been like freaking out. I'd be like, what the heck?
Yeah, but I really like it whenever he starts to lose it a little bit. Yeah. That F tirade that he goes through, like, that just shocked me. Yeah. And because I grew up on watching this on television. Mm-hmm. So only a few times I've actually watched it uncensored and everything. Mm-hmm. And I really think they pushed the envelope with this one.
Well, it's interesting because, like, you think about this movie and maybe Christmas Vacation are probably two most popular vacation movies, right? Yeah. And it's kind of the same thing. Whereas he starts out, hopeful and positive, and it just goes little by little down till he just explodes. And yeah, it's shocking how bad he gets really pissed off in this one.
Yeah, he just loses it.
Like, I forgot how bad he got in this one. I remember the Christmas Vacation, because we watched that all the time. But I guess I hadn't seen this movie in a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, he drops the F-bombs, and you can see why he does what he does. But I guess we'll say that hotel scene for later.
Oh, yeah.
So you've already mentioned Beverly D'Angelo. I don't really have anything else to add with her. She's lovely. She's perfect for this for this role. Let's talk about the kids a little bit. So, Rusty.
Well, obviously Anthony Michael Hall, who we talked about in Breakfast Club. He was also in Weird Science and several other things as a kid. Fantastic actor. I think he's great as Rusty. I think this is probably my favorite Rusty of all of them in the series.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think he's the best Rusty.
Yeah, I think his delivery is perfect, and you can tell he's excited in some scenes, and in some scenes he's kind of like, Dad, this is kind of lame. Yeah. And to me, my favorite scene with him and Chevy is the one where they sit down after the car has been crashed. Yep. Chevy just randomly pulls out a beer.
Yeah, they have a beer together.
Yep, and it's just like, I just remember this meant so much to me, and then Rusty just downs the thing.
You know what I want to do? When I was your age, my dad shared a beer with me, and I thought it was about the best thing in the world. Yeah. When I was a boy, just about every summer we'd take a vacation. And in 18 years, we never had fun. But now I have my own family, and, well, we're on our own vacation. And you know something, Russ?
What that?
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah, I guess he would do that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's just like, why share this? I'm just gonna drink the whole thing.
He's like, I've been through all this crap. I deserve a beer.
Yeah. So he's great. I love him, and I love his interactions in that scene when we visit the cousins.
Yeah. Oh, Eddie. Oh my gosh.
But love Anthony Michael Hall. And here's something I did not catch watching this as a kid. But Dana Barron as Audrey, she is I think she's low key underrated. I think she's probably the best Audrey too.
I think she's really good. She was better than I remember. I'll give you that much. But I still think The Winning Christmas Vacation is my favorite Audrey. I don't know what it is, but she's just hilarious in that film.
I just don't like what they did with their ages in that one. I just never sat well with me. It's like, I thought Rusty was the older brother, and now he's the younger brother. But I really like her, and especially whenever she meets Cousin Vicky, and Vicky turns her on to, just those magical sticks. It's just really funny scene, and then definitely adds to her performance as the film goes on, because there's certain times where she just kind of like grabs her purse. I don't know if you caught that when they get pulled over by the cop. She's like, gets Aunt Eddie to go hold her purse. She's like, will you hold my purse?
Randy Quaid is Cousin Eddie, man. I'm telling you what. What do you think of the Cousin Eddie character, man?
I think he's good. I don't think this is the best Cousin Eddie performance. I think, and it's mainly with the writing and just he's a smaller part in this one, but he's definitely got the weird factor. I think in this one he's more sad than anything. He's just like down on his luck. He has no jobs, and just kind of a terrible person because he doesn't have a job, but his wife, who has all these kids to take care of, is working 2 night jobs. So it's, I don't know. He's just a deplorable character, but at the same time, it's really funny just because he's that hapless idiot.
Yeah. And of course, Catherine. It plays his wife. I think it's the same one from the other movies, isn't it?
Yeah, they stayed consistent with the casting for the adults. The kids, they change it every film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's good. I'm just kind of like, why is she with him? But I guess she sees something there we don't see.
God bless her. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I mean, what is he grilling, by the way? I forget. It was something just like, what are you? It's like hamburger helper on the grill. It's just so gross to think about.
Yeah, no.
And they're just trying to be, the Griswolds are just kind of be like the good guests. They're just like, yeah, it tastes great, Eddie. And he's just like so happy. It's just funny.
Yep.
But I like their kids a lot too. I didn't put any of that on the cast, but I think these are some of my favorite kids from the Eddies, or I don't know what to call them. I don't even remember what their last names are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have those people. I guess we should talk about Edna. Did you hear any stories about her filming the film?
I did not.
So apparently Imogen Coca, the actress that plays Aunt Edna, is really a sweet person in real life.
Yeah.
And this was really hard for her to play somebody this obnoxious, this mean. So she would do this scene, and she was like, "Was that too mean?" I'm sorry. I feel bad.
I've never heard that before because she's terrible in this movie. Like, he's a horrible person. So I don't know what they did to get that out of her. Because I mean, like, you almost don't feel like too bad that she dies because you're like, well, at least she shuts up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she gives it to poor Clark.
She does, and I guess that goes to one. They say that comedic acting is the hardest acting to do.
Right. Right.
And in this case, she has to play against type. She has to play against a person, but it comes off really funny.
It does. It really, really does. I mean, it's one of those things. If you're living in that moment and you're riding with that person, having to deal with it, it'd be the worst thing ever. But watching it is hilarious. Like, I don't know who came up with all of that, but I was like, that's brilliant. That'd be probably the worst thing in the world, to have somebody that you really don't like in your car, with you, and then they die. It's like, how much worse could it get?
And that just shows you how dark this film gets.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, none of the other vacation films get this dark. First off, the obnoxious dog gets killed.
Yeah.
And we have that scene. But then Edna dies in the car. Yeah. And they ride with her for miles and miles. And then they're just like, okay, let's put her on the roof. And then they just drop her off at some random house in Phoenix and just leave her.
You almost feel sorry for her. You're almost like, okay, she didn't deserve that bad. But
she doesn't. And at the same time, it just shows you how far gone Clark is at this point. He just drops her off. It's like, she'll be fine. She's not going anywhere.
And I think that was on his side of the family too, wasn't it?
No, I think she's No, I don't remember if she's Ellen or Clark's.
I can't remember. But yeah, it was one of those situations, like I said, if you're in it, it would be the worst thing ever. But watching it, you're just like, wow. That is ridiculous. And to know that lady was actually really nice, I had not heard that. So that's really interesting. Because I remember hating that character when I was a kid. I was like, man, I would hate to ride with a lady like that.
Yeah, she's terrible. And I don't know why they don't make reference in, like, Christmas Vacation. They're just like, yeah, you guys remember Ed?
Yeah, the lady that died in our car?
Yeah. But that would have been so traumatic as a kid.
We used to, when I was a kid, we used to pick these old ladies up for church. I don't even know how we got started doing this, but my parents got into that. And so we'd pick these old ladies up, and they didn't get along. And one time they got in like an argument in our car. It was the most awkward thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, old ladies, they don't have a filter.
They know.
Like, my great-grandmother... Granny Ferg, as we called her, she would just say the meanest stuff to my cousins. She liked me for some reason, but she hated my other cousins, and she hated my sister too. She said some mean stuff, but
Jeez.
I guess that's just part of it. But real Aunt Edna's out there, so it's probably based off a real person.
One of them sat on one of my Superman dolls and broke his leg off, and I didn't like that lady from then on.
I guess so. But it's only somebody I do like in this film, but not as much as Clark does. And that's the girl in the Ferrari, played by the supermodel Christine Brinkley. What do you think about her addition to the film?
Hey man, I don't know whose idea that was. I don't know if that was Mr. Ramos's or who it was, but applaud on that one.
Yeah, it's just like a good through line through the whole film, because it is very episodic in nature. There's jumping from town to town, but for some reason this lady in the Ferrari just keeps appearing out of nowhere, and it comes to a head while they're staying in this hotel, and Clark is at his wit's end. Everybody hates him. I'm just like, don't even come in, you're on the couch tonight. And he runs into this lady. And he is such an idiot. He just plays it off like, yeah, that's not my family. There's some actors that are traveling with me.
This shows how bad of a person he was. He's like, yeah, that's not my family. I don't know who they are, so let's get in the pool.
Yeah, let's go in the deep end. Let's get naked in the pool. And I just love it. He jumps in and he screams because it's so cold, and it wakes up everybody.
Right there, if I was at Ellen, I would have packed the kids and be like, screw this vacation. We're taking a plane home or something.
Yeah, what? Just what we're talking about, Catherine and Eddie. Like, what's she seeing him?
I don't know.
Ellen is very faithful to Clark.
Very faithful. Like, unbelievably faithful at this point.
Yeah. And I guess it helps that, I don't even think she has a name other than Girl in a Ferrari, but the fact that she's a good sport about it and talks to Ellen, it's like, yeah, there was nothing serious. I mean, maybe that has a play in it.
Like you said, though, I think she's just very faithful, so,
But that's great character, and I guess that gets into my little controversy I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
So, growing up watching this movie, every scene she was in, they had a great song playing by the Pointer Sisters called I'm So Excited.
Yeah.
And you can just hear it in your head, I'm so excited. Yeah. But when I watched this movie the other night, that song has been taken out and replaced with Little Boy Sweet. And it's a weird thing. I'm like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
So I looked into it, and it just turns out that they lost the rights to it. So like in the early 2000s when it started coming out on DVD and Blu-ray, and I guess, I don't know, I didn't watch it on TV after that, but apparently they had to take out I'm so excited, which is very depressing because I think that song worked better. I think it synced up better. I just liked it, the way it looked better.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like it was a bad replacement. I'd never heard that. That's interesting. I can't believe I'd never heard that before.
Yeah. Usually when you see it, it happens on like video games. Like the Grand Theft Auto games, they're notorious for like losing rights to songs.
Yep.
But it's weird that it happened for a film. Like,
That is weird.
it's like, Warner Brothers, can you guys not pay the extra royalties to these people or something? Just kind of cheap.
Interesting.
But I guess we'll get to the last big actor in this film. I know you're a fan of him.
Love John Candy. I love John, and I love him in this film. I think he's great. He has a very small part. He plays the security guard at Wally World. Tries to tell the Griswolds, hey, they're closed. Of course, the Moose tried to tell him too, but Clark Griswold, at this point, I think that's where Clark Griswold snaps completely. When the Moose tells him that they're closed, because he punches the Moose right in the old schnoz there.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the Harold Ramis cameos there too. He plays the voice of Wally.
That's right. Yeah. And then he takes hostage the security guard played by John Candy with a BB gun. I think it is, isn't it? A BB gun.
Yeah, that's what it turns out to be.
And that's hilarious to me. I think it's so funny. Has the gun on him as they're on the roller coaster, like he's gonna jump out of the roller coaster or something.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it starts off as like, oh, don't hold me hostage, but after a while he kind of gets the Stockholm syndrome. He's like, gets attached to the Griswolds. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, this is a lot of fun. I love riding on these rides with you guys.
And then who shows up but Mr. Wally himself?
Yeah, and
obviously a play on Walt Disney.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch that as a kid.
Which I'm surprised didn't have much more fanfare, which it may have been behind the scenes of them basically spoofing Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I never made that connection as a kid. I was just like, yeah, he's Wally, he's a moose. Never thought, no, it's supposed to be Disneyland and all that stuff.
Yeah, we just spent 2 weeks of living hell driving out here.
Lost a very dear member of the family along the way.
But the important thing, Roy, is that we could have gone anywhere we wanted to this summer, anywhere in the world. But when I asked my kids, when I said, kids, you remember when I said, where would you like to go this summer more than any place in the world, huh? What'd you say?
Why?
Shut up, Russ. Audrey, remember?
Wally World, Dad?
Wally World, Dad. Roy Wally World. I don't imagine you have any children, Mr. Wally.
Are you kidding? I have 7.
I thought so.
Yeah.
7. Did you hear that, honey?
You look so young.
So you do look very young.
Did you,
Did you ever drive them across country?
Oh, hell yeah. Chef, took the whole clan to Florida one year. Worst 2 weeks I ever had in my life. The smell from the back seat was unbearable. Families.
Yeah, I know that smell. I know that smell. But Roy, can you imagine how your kids would have felt if when you got to Florida it was closed?
Oh, they don't close Florida. No,
well, I know they don't close the state of Florida. But when we got here to Roy Wally World, and it was closed down, Roy, if you'd seen the look on my kids' faces, I guess I just went a little haywire.
You went a lot haywire, if you ask me.
Well, I'm very sorry, sir, and I'm sorry to all of these people here. I didn't mean any harm. I just want you to ask yourself one thing. If you were me, wouldn't you do the same thing for your children?
No.
A really interesting film, but does it hold up for you, man?
It does, and I would say there's one scene that I wish they would take it out of, and I think Harold Ramis said the same thing whenever they did it, and that's the whole part where they go down to downtown Chicago and they get their hubcap stolen. I just think it's kind of a racist scene. I don't think it's that great. I think the other parts of the movie are a lot better, a lot funnier, but I think it's really good as far as just seeing this man just kind of go nuts. It's kind of got a What About Bob thing going. It's just those classic films like that where just the protagonist has everything go wrong for them, and you don't really blame them for when they freak out. And it's just kind of fun to see, especially the finale. He takes a guy hostage, and you're like, this guy's going to prison, but for some reason they just we feel bad for you, sorry about that, and it just ends on all the guards and the police officers going on the roller coaster together. And so it definitely holds up for me. I smile when I think about this film.
Yeah.
Very funny, great performances. It's really good.
You know, and if you ever, like us, been on family vacations, you kind of thank goodness that you're like, man, at least our vacations were that bad, you know. We had some doozies. Like, I broke my arm in Washington when I was 5 years old. And we had to go all over Washington to find a hospital to set my little arm. But, I mean, you know, other than stuff like that, our vacations are pretty tame compared to this one, so.
Yeah, this is the vacation from hell, and I guess that's the big selling point for the film.
Yeah.
Like, live through these family, don't actually go live like this.
Yeah, definitely. So, this is a fun summer film. Of course, this is the end of the summer by now. Obviously, we're all into fall and everything, but a really fun film to kind of relive and everything. Big fan of the vacation films. I personally think that Vegas Vacation, which I think was the last vacation, is a pretty underrated film on its own. I don't think it's better than this one or Christmas, but I think it's still a pretty fun film. But this one definitely is a comedy classic, and I really enjoyed watching it. I had it on DVD too, so it was really fun to watch again and relive the craziness that is the Griswolds.
Yeah, I like the series. I think it's definitely one of those Chevy Chase's sort of lasting legacy things. Mm-hmm. Christmas Vacation is obviously the one I've seen the most.
Right.
It's kind of like go-to film during Christmas.
Oh yeah.
But I really like this one. This was the one. Mm-hmm. Every time I saw it on TV, I'm like, I'm gonna at least watch a little bit of it.
So really fun film to relive again and rewatch and talk about. But we have got some films, guys, coming up that I'm really excited to talk about, don't we, Steve?
We do. One of them I just watched last night.
Yeah.
And it's another film I've not seen in decades. And I really liked it. It's Batman Forever.
Yeah, man. The Val Kilmer Batman.
I think it gets some undue criticism. I mean, it's
glad
not
you
as
say that.
beloved as the Nolan films.
Right.
It's not as, like, iconic as the Tim Burton films. Mm-hmm. But I think it definitely has its place in there.
I do too. I think it's a very underrated film. I think Val Kilmer is a very good Batman / Bruce Wayne. I hate that he only got one chance at it.
Yep, Batman Forever coming up next.
So thank you guys for joining us as always. We'd love for you guys to share our episodes and join us on our live streams. We just did one actually before recording this episode. So hopefully you guys checked it out, and then if not, you can check us out in the next one.
All right, see you next time
on the SuperCaZt.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the SuperCaZt. We release these twice a week, so if you want to stay up on things, check out our Facebook group and our Twitter. We're very active. We'd like you to be active too. So find us SuperCaZt spelled with a Z. Also stay tuned to YouTube where we do live streams and stuff like that. Just like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the SuperCaZt.